Bracco.
Oh, Bracco. Yeah, true. I mean, it doesn't make much sense if it's
otherwise it would be NGMJ.
Isn't that NGM? Yeah, what he said.
We'd have to redo the logo and everything. That's bad.
Oh yeah. That logo up there, right?
Yeah, the one. Right there.
You're right there. Nice. Good one.
Thank you.
All right. Yeah. Cool. So it looks like everything's streaming healthy, up and running. Cool. Did you tweet that out?
I just tweeted.
Where's the Twitters? Got to retweet the tweeters.
Yes.
Retweet. All right. Excited about today.
Yes.
I'm excited about I take that back. Yeah, I am excited about today. I was excited about a couple things today. Excited about our Angular Air episode, which was awesome.
That was a good show. I had fun today.
And then excited about this as well. So
yeah, I don't know. I'm just happy about my tweet. I mean, getting to move on with Angular animations. That's like a talk title.
It is. Yeah, I agree.
If
we want to reserve that, though? We want to do that talk. Now it's out in the wild. Anybody can take it, right?
Yeah, but I want royalties.
Oh, all right. Are there royalties on talks? How does that work?
I don't know. Hold on for a quick sec.
Real life. I like it.
Yeah, I need to digitally turn a light off in the hallway upstairs for my kids.
Isn't technology great?
It is. Wemo.
I can do that with my AC unit too. So, when it gets to be a gajillion degrees in here, I can turn that thing on or off.
That makes a whole lot of sense to me. Do we have anybody watching? Anybody here?
We don't have anything
in the chat
or anything. Do you? Are you looking at the numbers? Remember we talked about the whole stats on the dashboard for Twitch not really showing live?
I know. I don't understand that. It says there's one person watching right now, and I think that's me.
Probably.
It might be me.
Probably.
Cool. I know that guy.
Maybe we should just kind of shoot the breeze for a while, give a chance to people to
absolutely
connect up, and before we kind of start talking, digging into stuff.
Yeah,
we do that. Man, so our episode today on Angular Air was about state management through query params and the router. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, old school cool. I mean, going back to using the URL for what it was used for more than just like hashtags in the there to control like where you are in the page.
Yeah,
because I don't think a lot of people remember using anchor tags to actually link to as destinations. It's usually like a launching point to go somewhere else.
Right. But actually, you're talking like the A tags, right? And then having ID on those, and then making use of the hash and the URL to get to them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What was it? I mean, that's what A tag stands for, right? It's anchor.
Anchor, yeah.
Anchor.
Yeah.
It's
kind of that, isn't it that like one of those tags where when I try and refer to it, like if I'm teaching people and stuff, right? And it's like, you want to say the anchor tag, but like most other tags, you're like a div tag, right? A span tag. And that's like the actual selector that's for the element, right? Or the element name. And the anchor tag is actually A. So you're like, do I call it A? Do I call it anchor? I don't know.
Yeah, it's the same thing with because the other single letter one that comes to mind is the P tag.
P tag.
You call it the P tag, or there's the paragraph tag?
That's true. That's a good point. Why does HTML have to be confusing like that, right?
I think that's why. I think that was the whole reason for HTML5, right?
Right. Let's get more semantic, right? But we have to, support the legacy stuff too. So I guess instead of having an anchor element, it still has to be a paragraph.
Yeah, and they can't have dashes. Like the default ones can't have dashes, but that's why custom elements need to have dashes for that differentiator.
Right.
I like that.
And I can see people may say, hey, well, the P is easier to type than paragraph. But come on now, we got Emmet, we got all these other utilities, right? You can kind of start typing something and it'll autofill, complete it for you.
You could almost say that HTML is kind of like our Constitution, in that it was built in a way to be expanded upon, not just built for today, but built for the future.
Interesting.
It's kind of deep, isn't it?
I think you go further and say, well, there's some elements that remain in there that probably should be changed, but for some reason we can't, right? And they have to stick around.
This is true. Yes. You got to support the old stuff.
Right. Yeah. We got any viewers yet?
What? Hold on. Tech Builder Dig is an hacker too. Oh, wait. I'm here looking at a reply on Twitter, but it is actually not the tweet about the show.
It's about something else.
Yeah, I tweeted today about punching CRTs. It used to be.
Yeah.
Because that was a good outlet for me when I'd get frustrated.
That's what I always say. Yeah, like, how's your day going? Oh man, I want to punch my monitor.
Yeah, I won't do that with today's LEDs or LCDs or plasma, whatever they're made of.
Although you could probably go through that a little easier than a CRT.
This is true.
I don't know. Maybe Mythbusters could run that. You know, I always joke around and say that I'm about 30 seconds away from printing out this code on a piece of paper just so I can mess it up.
I got a printer.
Right? Except I can't stand printing stuff, so whatever. I had to print a shipping label today, and I'm like, this is ridiculous. I don't know. Printing anything drives me crazy.
I just printed something today, too. I was like, this has been a while. It still works. It has ink. It's not dried up.
All right.
There's paper in there and everything. I was like, wow, look at us go. 4 people watching right now. Is one of those you, Justin?
I am not. I am not. But that might be 3 legit if you're still watching.
Hello, viewers.
3 legit to quit.
Hey, do you know viewers has an S at the end?
It has the S at the end?
Yeah. There's more than one. I had to use the S.
Ah, plural. Pluralize.
Yes.
Hey, speaking of that, have you ever used the pluralize pipe in Angular?
No.
Mm.
No, I have not. I feel like I need to now.
Pretty interesting.
Can we do that tonight?
We could possibly, we could probably do that. We could probably throw that in there somewhere.
I mean, just like a little getting started thing.
Oh, yeah, I know where we could do it at. I'll give a little early reveal, right? That we're going to be displaying like users and working with a display of users. And we have a filter on that, right? We could display the total number of users and try and set up a filter where we end up with just like 1 or more than 1. And then we can use the pluralize pipe to say 10 total users or 10 user, 10 or 1 user, 1 total user, right?
Oh, totally. I like it.
Figure out the text copy. Yeah, so they use the pluralize pipe. It's got an interesting DSL, domain-specific language, for how you work with it. Kind of similar to how our topic tonight that we're going to dive into, animations, has a DSL, right, for how you use it and expected kind of structure for what you pass it.
Very true. It's a little bit extensive. I mean, it goes beyond just like the basics. It has a few things on top of it. I like that.
And so the pluralized pipe, same way, and I think it really fits into. It tries to mimic I believe it's the I18N like pattern in terms of what the syntax is for handing it something to evaluate whether it's which one to choose, if it's like greater than 1, or if it's 1, or if it's more than 1, right? But there's a specific DSL for using it, but it's not too bad to kind of wrap your head around and then get going, and then it's pretty cool, right? So
I want to play with it. I want to play with all the things.
All right, we'll have to incorporate that in tonight. We can do that,
I think so.
Yeah,
because we can definitely control with the API that I found through Frosty Dev on Twitch. If you wanted to go follow him, he's used this API, and I kind of just stole that from him. The API.
Oh. Yeah, that was pretty cool, because today on our Angular Air episode, our guest Ilya was using a API for some test data, and I was waiting for it to see if it was the same one that you set up for this project, but it's a different one. But it's cool that we've got these APIs out there that people are generous to provide that have the sample data that we can hook into, right?
That's phenomenal. Yeah, I really like that. I think that his had a smaller set of data for each particular user or person that was returned, but I think both of them end up having a lot more information than what you were actually worried about, at least for these particular demos. However, through mapping with the observable that you get back from the HTTP call, you can just remove the fields that you don't want.
Isn't that so great? We can just reduce off of that and make it smaller, and select only things we want. Of course, we still get the payload coming across the wire, right? So you still have that, but that's another story. GraphQL, another story for another solution, right?
This is demo code. I'm not worried about performance. Right? I'm not controlling this server. I submit a ticket to them.
Yeah, right. It's true. Right.
Write up a story. As a consumer of your API,
yeah, right.
I would like smaller responses.
Can you just implement GraphQL on your API so that I can get my sample data in the way that I want it, right?
Yeah, so I can tell you what to do without actually having to talk to you.
I know there's sample APIs out there for getting like random cat pictures, random dog pictures, Star Wars. Don't tell Ward Bell. Star Trek. I'm sure there's a Star Trek one.
Should we do that? That reminds me that, so you know, like lorem ipsum, right?
The what?
Lorem ipsum?
Yes, lorem
I
ipsum.
think there's a bacon ipsum.
There is. I've seen that.
It's like all different kinds of bacon. Yeah.
Isn't it like just bacon ipsum all over the place?
I don't know.
Bacon.
I mean, we're talking a while back that I remember coming across that.
Yeah.
All right.
So, yeah, I mean, isn't the web wonderful these days? I mean, think about back in the day. You talked earlier about back in the day with this query string params and how we used to do it back in the day, right? Same thing. Like back in the day, we didn't have like sample data APIs, and you got to spin all that stuff up yourself and figure it out. Now it's like world at your fingertips to develop applications, web applications. It's pretty wild. I enjoy it, but I've always enjoyed the web.
I'm doing a little bit of typing here.
So this is weird. I've got a friend watching the stream, and instead of chatting to me in the stream chat, he's texting me, and it's like, bro, do the stream chat.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe it's a personal thing. I don't know.
That's where you get the link for the live share to be able to join.
That too, right? We need to get people doing that, right? We haven't had anybody jump in there yet. I don't think. No, we did. Last episode we did. I'm sorry. Sorry, Cheekin. I forgot already that you joined our live share last week in the code.
He was there. I can
yell.
delete this file because we don't need that. I created a file to save the link for the live share, but I've got this here in another window. Window reuse.
Now this is the read-only one, right?
It is the read-only one.
Are we ready to have everybody mob code with us?
No, I don't think we want that to happen, do we?
No, not yet. Maybe.
Not yet, yeah. I think that's going to be on a case-by-case basis. You have to earn that.
You have to earn your way into pure and like mob programming. I've just kind of seen the headlines about it. I don't know specific about it, but I don't know. Do you know anything about that? Isn't it you just have a bunch of people contributing to writing the code as if you're pair programming, but with a bunch of people?
Wow, that's like taking what Eunice was on talking about when he came on to a whole nother level. Because I mean, they're using Git as the medium to be able to take things back and forth. But wow, I don't think I could do that.
The only brief thing I've kind of seen about it is like a group of chairs in front of some giant monitor and one keyboard and mouse, right? And I think he like passed it around. I don't know. I'm not going to speculate on it, I guess, because I haven't done enough research on it. But that's what I saw in the picture.
Yeah, so that takes me back to our failure from last week with our stream. And it wasn't so much anything that you or I did, but my keyboard died.
Mm-hmm.
I'd go out the next day and buy another keyboard.
It was your C key, right? The Charlie key.
Yeah, it just
Charlie for C. It's down here. It's dead. Yeah. Did you get a replacement one of the same kind?
I did.
Oh, look at that. Look at that.
You can see how old this one is. I mean, how much it's worn there on the wrist versus this one.
Yeah. So now are your W, A, S, and D keys worn down too or not?
I'm not a PC gamer. I don't game on my computer.
All right.
I will dabble in a little bit of Xbox.
Me too. I play on all platforms pretty much though. Since we're showing keyboards, I'll show mine. Mine's wired though, so I can only pull it so far. But yeah. Here's my mechanical keyboard. Ooh, I can turn on the lights too. Turn on the lights. Let's see.
When I turn on my lights, it's my flashlight on my phone.
Right? Anywho.
Yeah, but I can type like this now.
Oh, that's nice. That was kind of like a keel in.
Yeah, it's what are they? Yeah, the keytar.
Yeah, like a keytar, but you put it on your shoulder, so I'm thinking like a violin, right?
Ooh, it's got a padded piece.
But could you really code like that?
Can I code a normal? That's a good question.
It's a good question for both of us, right?
I feel like it.
It's awesome.
What do we want to do? Do we want to just dig in?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, let's do it. Everybody can watch the video on demand if they have to catch up.
True.
But I mean,
chat with us
live. Come on, ask questions, help us code, check it out, hang out. What you got going on for Wednesday? Well, I guess it really depends on what time zone you're in. So on a Wednesday, is anybody on Thursday? Maybe Australia? I don't know. I forgot how that works. But anywho, if you guys around hanging out, come hang out with us, right?
Yeah, I just shared that with somebody. I need to bump up my Wi-Fi Z's. I got to prioritize my laptop.
Hey, I used to do that for Angular Air episodes, but I think it was because I had to do that because I had an old MacBook that I was using that didn't have a great Wi-Fi hardware in it, right? And since I got my new Mac, it seems the Wi-Fi connection is a lot stronger. So as a result, I'm not really having to prioritize. But I do that. I have a Google Wi-Fi pods in the house, right? So I can just go through the app and say prioritize this device, and
that's exactly what I'm doing. Don't tell my wife; she's in the other room.
Exactly right. Exactly.
Streaming TV right now. Yeah.
Let me just change that. Okay.
Ooh.
What up, Frosty?
We got a Frosty here. Oh, very nice.
Well,
I dropped my phone.
Yeah, it says Frosty's here, and I'm assuming he's controlling his account right now to say he's here, but I guess we can't confirm or deny that.
You know what? I sent out the hook. I reached out on Slack.
Nice.
He's a WebStorm guy though.
Yeah. Hey.
No, I'm not knocking it. But I'm going to repost the VS Code live share link.
All right. Well, I think most of us WebStorm peeps also have VS Code installed as well,
That's true. It's compelling enough to at least investigate, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. The real-time sharing to me is where it's at, especially as somebody who works remotely.
Yeah.
That I can pair with people and to be able to share real time instead of just doing a screen share, because that's not interactive. So
I'll throw out a little hook there for you though about WebStorm. It is always nice when I can on my Mac, I can hold down the command key and left click on an Angular component input, and it will bring up a context menu that shows me all the places that's used at, from the template to other components templates to the TS file. It's pretty productive. I like it a lot. Nice WebStorm feature bundled out the box for it. No plugins needed.
Yeah, but the thing is, you need to take your fingers off the keyboard to do that. I tried to keep my fingers at home. I don't go Vim. I'm not that far.
All right.
But I try to learn as many keyboard shortcuts.
I bet there's a keyboard shortcut for that, and if not, you could add it. So, and in all fairness, like I'm sure all that functionality could be added to VS Code as well. It has a great extension capabilities and things like that. It's just that you kind of have to go searching and find that, or add that, or create it if it doesn't exist, right? And I think that's one of the kind of cool things about WebStorm is that it bundled out the box with it. So
yeah,
but I love them both. So. And that's for another episode, that kind of discussion of comparison and things.
Agreed. So I'm thinking it's time that we start diving in now.
Right. Let's do it. I'm going to take our logo off here. Bye-bye logo.
Oh, I love our logo.
Well, I do too. But, once we start sharing the screen, we've got to not have it overlay on top of the content, right?
No, as he drives
remote as he drives home. I sure hope he's riding in a Tesla where he doesn't have to drive.
What do you drive? Well, I don't drive anymore. I bought a Tesla.
Right. All right. There we go.
He is in the Tesla. Wow.
Nice.
I'm in the living room. I know the office. I'm not in the living room. All right.
You're in the stream room. I'm in the stream room.
I'm in the green room. This is all virtual behind me.
All right, so are you ready for me to add this to the view here?
I am. Yeah, you can throw that out there. It's highly classified Angular.io website.
Ooh, look at that.
Yes.
One of our favorite spots, right? Angular.io.
Now, where do we want to start? Do we want to start writing animations, or should we walk through what we've done in the project so far?
Well, yeah, let's first talk about what we're planning on doing, right, with animations.
Cool.
I guess we don't really have a full detailed plan of what we're doing with animations, but the idea was that, hey, we both want to hack around on some animation stuff because we don't get enough chances to do that in our regular daily routines. And so it's something that we both are excited about and love the whole animations on the web. I mean, I know for me, like one of the big draws from the web from the very beginning was this ability not only to be able to build and deploy fast and get stuff visibly seen in terms of the UI experience for an application, but also this potential for these web animations that over the years has just, continued to advance. And gone are the days where we'd have to rely on Flash or some other extension plugin to be able to pull off the animation. Now we can do a lot of this stuff with HTML and CSS, and it's super awesome, exciting, at least for me. I think for you too. But we don't get a chance to do it enough. So
I think so. I think the other thing to think about though is you brought the idea of Flash out. I don't think we can get by, both of us being Microsoft developers, without mentioning ActiveX or even Silverlight.
The S word, Silverlight. Yeah.
Right, to be able to do those types of things before the web platform was really ready for it.
Right.
But no plugins needed anymore. Just move your elements around and style them and let them roll.
Right.
So I won't lie. I did get to play with animations for work not too long ago. It was about 2-3 weeks ago. I got to add a little bit of pizzazz to a site that I was working on.
Cool. Frosty's asking about the dog. I'm assuming he's asking about my dog.
I don't have a dog unless it's like DAWG and he's talking about me, but I don't think that's the case.
He could be. He's probably talking about you too. I don't know. So Brocco dog is right there. My real pet dog is out there. You can see his nose, his schnauze pointing over. He's sleeping out there.
Such a good boy. All right.
Yeah. So we're going to dive into animations. And you have gracefully too, have set up some starter code application that we have. So we don't have to show going through that, right? You want to talk about that?
Yeah. You want to respond to the message in the chat?
I do, or you can.
Okay, I can do that. A nice jiggle animation on a call to action button. That's what the cool kids are. We the cool kids? We could pretend to be the cool kids.
Well, I think if we made a jiggle animation on a call to action button, then we would be technically part of the cool kids crew.
That is true.
I mean, I'm using logic here, right? My logical side of my brain is deducting that. I think that's the case. Sounds right.
That's what would make us the cool kids.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. Like, not cool now, but could become cool if we jiggle that call to action button with an animation.
Yeah. No, we want it. Oh man.
That's my friend that was texting me earlier. Now he's in the chat.
Okay.
All right. Well, hey, I'm glad you're joining us in the chat and telling us that. I appreciate that.
Absolutely.
Cool kids crew. Yeah.
All right. So what we've done, we did it together. We did it together the other day. Was we set up an application. Nobody wants to watch us create an application, consume an API, or anything else. So stock Angular CLI application. We added a few things. First of all, from Frosty. Oh no, we didn't write any tests, so we don't have to look in there. So what we're doing is we're consuming an API from this randomuser.me. And I'm going to open that up over here.
Hey, Mike, do you want to increase that font? How do you want to do this? You want to maybe make the browser a little smaller, like 2/3, 1/3?
Oh, I can do 2/3. I can do thirds. Is that good?
Yeah, I'm thinking maybe something like that. And then do we need to bump that font up a bit?
Yeah, I can do that. Oh, I want that too. Let's see if I can bump VS Code first. We good there?
Yeah, I'm thinking that. Any of our viewers out there can let us know if that's too small. If anybody's watching on a mobile device or something, can't see that, we can always bump it up. But
yeah.
Okay, continue. My bad. I'm interrupting you.
Yeah, so we've found the site through Frosty Dev, randomuser.me, and it's just an API to be able to get random users. So you can make a call here /API, and you can pass in a few different options and get some results. So that's what we're doing. We're making a call here. We're using the seed so that we get the same data back all the time. That seed just being NGBS because, hey, we got to use that, right?
Who gave you that tip? I heard somebody gave you that tip, right?
I think that came from a stream that I watched with Frosty Dev.
Nice.
To be able to use a seed, to be able to get the same data. And this way we're looking at the same thing over and over again versus different things there. And then also results, you can specify how many. And I'm just defaulting that here to 20 so that we have that. But if we want to get more, we could do that and we can override that. So we're getting that data, and then we're only caring about the results, which are the users, and then we're mapping those users. And we don't care about all these properties. There's a whole lot here. So I basically just filtered that, not actually filter like only some users, but I'm filtering it to only have the properties that we want on the objects that we're getting.
Cool.
And then we are consuming that in our app component. So on init, we are getting the users, and we are also creating a filter here to be able to filter based off of gender. And I guess I should show that, right? So we're seeing.
Yeah, I want to point out one thing which is really cool. While you're walking through this code, you're highlighting it. And for anybody who joins VS Code's live share and clicks on your user and follows you, they'll watch you highlighting stuff in their VS Code instance on their machine. So it's a really great
way. Not only that, but the shared server, which we can see down here, they can actually run this locally on their machine. They can play with the browser size and see how responsive it is on their screen. Little spoiler, not very, because we didn't do that.
Right.
Can I copy the link? Where's this? Focus, copy. Invitation link is copied. I'm going to put that back in the chat in case anybody wants to join. You'll need the VS Code live share extension for VS Code, which you come over to extensions. Oops, I hit it. Go back. And I come in, I can search for live share. And that's coming directly from Microsoft, and just install that extension. Paste that link in. You'll have to authenticate. You can authenticate against either Microsoft or GitHub, either one of those, and you'll be able to join. Although I think if you join, I think you can join without signing in. You just won't be able to type or anything. But it's read-only anyway, so. Because you don't need it.
It's like super cool because, like I said, I mean, you can have your eyeballs on the stream. and checking it out there, or you could be looking in your VS Code instance. Mine's down here. That's why I'm pointing down here on the bottom of my screen. And watch that, and you can see as Mike or I navigate around, and he's highlighting stuff, and yeah, it's pretty cool experience for.
Yeah, because I can follow you around right now if I wanted. So I can see you're looking inside of appcomponent.ts. Whenever you click
That's
around,
really cool. I can go and I can kind of control, right? If you're following me, now I start opening up files.
Yeah, I got hands off.
And I'm opening them from my machine, and it's through Brocco's screen that you're seeing the stuff. So wizardry, right?
Yes.
Oh. All right.
Thanks for highlighting this. I'm going to unfollow you.
So yeah, thank you.
Click around. Yeah, so we just have a model defined that this is our user, and then the full user is what we're getting from the API. Should I show this pro tip?
Yeah, come on. We're all about revealing any kind of tips that we find. That's one of the big points of this, right? Is that everybody can kind of pick up little things here and there, and we'll share all this stuff for sure.
Absolutely. So
you're talking about this. You've got these. You created interfaces, TypeScript interfaces for the API data that's coming back from the sample API, right?
Yeah.
So there's a lot of them there. You hand type all that stuff, or what?
No, man, I'm too lazy to do that. So let's come in here and take one of the users that this is returning for us. Actually, it's easier if I go bottom up. So I'm just going to take this here, go up to the top, and I'm copying that. Now I'm going to go to this site over here. Actually, I'll do it all from the get-go without this. So there's a site out there called QuickType.io. And here, let's make that big so that everybody can see. I'm going to QuickType.io, and which converts.
I'm going to throw that in an overlay here so people can see it too. Is it HTTPS?
I believe so. Yes, because otherwise Chrome will tell me it's not secure. And I want to generate code now. And then over here, I have the ability to paste JSON. So I'm going to highlight that and delete that and paste in what I copied. And here it's giving me actual code. And I'm not familiar with this language. And I come over here, it's Swift. I don't care about.
Can you bump the font on that window as well?
Yeah, I can do that.
Please.
Is that good?
Yeah, I think that's good.
Okay. But I don't want Swift. We're doing TypeScript. So I select TypeScript and I get all my interfaces here. It's user welcome. I don't care about that. I just typed user, which I then changed to full user because I wanted to use user for our types. And then it gives me all the subtypes as well.
That's awesome.
Interfaces only. So I don't want any of the other stuff from here. I don't need the comments. I know how to import a module. And then I also wanted to make everything optional because I didn't want to be restricted for what I was doing.
Nice.
And then I copied it. And then I went over to my editor, VS Code, not WebStorm. And I can replace this again. I'll delete it. And then I will paste it. The only other thing that's in here is a little bit of formatting, but Prettier takes care of that. And I'm back to working code again.
Very awesome.
So get types based off of JSON. And actually, I haven't gone so far. I believe that there is an extension for VS Code. Paste JSON as code.
What?
I don't need to go anywhere.
Wow.
I like that. All right. There's no bookmarking. I want to bookmark this.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I'll have to remember to look at that later. All right. So we have a service which is exposing our data here, which is coming from there, which is typed of type. So we're getting in full users, but this is returning an observable view user arrays. And then from our components, we are consuming it here with the users, and we're getting 20 of them. And then we are combining that with this local subject in here, which is a filter, which I was about to show. So in here, we can show both male and female. We could just filter to just show male or just female. So that's pretty much where we are and what we have.
Cool.
No interactions. I guess I should show the template here. Save that, keep that open. On the component, we just have a container for the filter. That's the gender with a select. That's just raising the change event, which emits out of the subject to be able to react off of that to filter the actual data. And then a container to show all of the users through that observable async and displaying the name, their picture, and their phone number. That's it.
Cool. Cool. So we've got all of our sample application here kind of ready to go, and we could just start adding some animations to it, right?
Yeah, we can start animating away with whatever we want. Now, I feel strange because we don't have a call to action button for us to wiggle at this point because we made the change event trigger this. But I guess we could put a button on here that we could wiggle whenever this changes, but I don't know if that's where we want to start.
Well, we also talked about using the pluralized pipe, right? Which is not animations, but we wanted to squeeze in there. Maybe we'll just start with that and hack that out real quick. How about that? Because we don't have a total number of users displayed here, right? Why don't we put that next to the drop down of gender filter?
Put in a span tag here. And what do we want to put in there? There are actually, let's say that the number of users
in there right now, right?
What's that?
Or you go that far. Yeah, sure.
Let's say this, right? Dot length.
Ooh, you're double subscribing.
I am at this point. Total users.
This is where we need our ng-let directive as part of the Angular platform. That'd be nice. There's plenty of examples of how to do that, but it'd be great if it was part of the platform.
I'm going to CSS for a little bit. Oop, put all of that, save all that. And then this should move to the right and we should have a little bit of a space. There we go. That's my CSS contribution for the night.
All right. I'm really tempted to go in there and change that CSS to use CSS Grid instead of Flex.
Do we want to do that now?
No, that's for another. We'll do that in another stream.
You sure?
We'll get Bill Odeman here with us and we'll hack around with some stuff. There we go.
Cool.
All right, so you got some CSS, kind of straight display that a little nicer here. 20 total users, okay.
Yeah, so let's show male user. Oh, apparently we have 11 men and 9 women.
Okay. Because this API returns back a gender status of male or female. Is that correct?
It does as part of that API. If I come back into user, one of the things in here is gender as a string.
Okay. I think those are the only options that it provides back, right? So we're just based off of whatever it provides back.
I believe so. There's no particular type information that I see here beyond that.
Gotcha. Somebody needs to update that, make it more accessible.
Yes, yes, not non-binary, right?
Right.
I don't think we really want to dig into the GitHub repo for that, do we?
No. It's not the focus, right? So we'll just make a point about that. But yeah.
Justin?
Yes?
Do you see what I see?
Yes, Doug Peterson. I'm going to call you Doug Peterson now because you look like Doug Peterson with that Eagles visor. Do I see what you see?
Yes.
It's very small font in the screen. So
hold on.
I don't.
We're going to bring up screenshots. All right. I got that. Give me a second. We're going to dump that into preview. capture. Where's preview? There we go. All right, and bring that full screen.
What? Did you do that on the site?
No, I haven't.
You to do that.
I needed to show it beforehand. We've got a direct Konami code reference.
I like that.
I'm not saving my screenshot. All right.
I'm going to go get my Nest controller out and just do it just so I can feel the nostalgia and get Nintendo thumb at the same time.
My old case on my phone was an NES controller looking case. So the back of my phone looked like an NES controller.
Cheekin, who joined us last week on our stream, his case is a NES controller case on his phone.
Nice. All right, here we go.
Okay.
Up, up, down, down, left, right, B, A.
Woo, look at that.
Let's bring that full
screen. A. What happens if you do it again? Do it again.
Hold on. What is going on here? Oh, is it just the top that's changed?
Yeah, I think so.
Apparently. I like it. You want to do it again?
Yeah. We should do a Twitter poll to find out how many people back in the day would do up, up, down, down, left, right, BA, BA, or just one set of BA.
Yeah, and I always remember it as select start, and that was always with Contra.
Yeah, you have to do the code and then do select start and get the 30 lives with Contra, right?
Absolutely.
But I remember as a kid, we would do BA, BA, and then later it was found out it was just one set of BA that was needed.
I think you're right, yeah.
How many people did that?
So now I want to do something else.
Okay.
I know you've done something like this in the past, that if we were to write a directive in Angular to retrieve and recognize when the Konami code was entered.
Yeah, so I did a stream on Shorty Dev a while ago. I kind of tried to dive into key binding stuff. Yeah, we should do a time one of these weeks where we expand upon that. We can totally do that.
I like that.
All right, add it to the plan list of content.
What? Password is one of these things here? I've got all these randomly generated passwords too. Oh,
interesting.
We could totally log into non-existent accounts with those.
All right. Let's add some animations.
All right, so we're not going to pluralize?
Oh, yeah, sorry. Let's pluralize and then add some animations.
Okay. So I've never done this before. So where I'd start is I'd go to angular.io and I would type in pluralize. What? Plural? Do we want the direct? I think D is directive. Is that right? E is, so I don't know. Let's go right to that. Plural.
It's pipe. It's I18N plural pipe.
Ooh. Oh, I need to go back and search again. Plural. All right, so we'll go under internationalization. You know what? Let's actually see this big. And on this page, plural, pluralization. Ooh. Updated. Wow.
All right, so you can kind of see in the example at the bottom, you'll be able to see the DSL that's needed for it in this message. Just scroll down. No, wait. I think you're on a different URL than I am. Here, let me send you the URL.
Send me a URL. Now we have you and I have like 7 different ways of communicating. How are you?
I'm sending it to Slack so you can click on it, because we did it through this chat in here in our software that we're using for streaming, but it doesn't show up as a link. So instead of you having to copy paste, we'll do that.
Ooh, look at that.
All right, so increase that font. I'm the font size gatekeeper here.
All right, I appreciate that. Thank you. So what I do, because I pretend I'm on Stack Overflow, is I just copy and paste.
There we go.
All All right, so let's
All
copy
right,
that.
so yeah, scroll down to the bottom there.
Oh, I gotta go, okay, usage example.
Yeah, there we go.
All right.
So the idea is that the I18N plural pipe takes in argument. Of course, takes in the value. This is the first argument before the pipe, and then the name of the pipe, and then colon, and then the second argument that it takes in is this message mapping, which is the DSL, the domain specific language for how the I18N pipe knows how to work with that set of data, right?
I like it. All right, so let's take that. We're going to copy this. We're going to go over back to our code, and we want to use this here.
Correct.
Let's only do this. Let's put our NGF here. And this way we're only subscribing once for this whole thing.
Well, you're going to have to put it in a higher element, right, to be able to use it below, I believe. So we may need to wrap the whole thing in an ng container.
Whatever. As users.
All right, here, yeah, do this and we'll see. I'm pretty certain that users won't be available to line 14, but maybe so it'd be cool.
No, I'm not worried about that one. I'm just worried about using it twice within here. Because I need to use it twice. I need to use to show the length here, and then I need to use it to drive this piece.
To drive the pluralize. All right.
Yeah, I think I know what I'm doing.
Okay. All right.
So this is users.
Well, I know you know what you're doing. I just wasn't in sync with what you were doing. The mental telepathy wasn't happening at that moment. Usually it does, right? Usually we're very much in sync, like two minds join together in the interweb space of. Yeah. Now it's getting weird. All right, back to the code.
All right. So I've got my subject up here. So this is where we create the property, right? Let's make it equal to something.
Okay.
What do we want to make it equal to, though? It's one of these things. Right?
Right.
That doesn't look right.
Yes, I think it's because on a different line. It's
this is the type.
Okay. Right? Yeah.
All right. So let's get from the colon to the semicolon, right? Because that's how you do things, right? Colon to semicolon.
Yeah. Seems.
All right. We'll get that. I'll format that. And then it's going to be equal to this. Oh. Now it's starting to make a little bit more sense with a little bit of formatting.
All right. So I can talk through this if we want to talk through this real quick.
Yeah, it doesn't like. Why does it not like that? Oh, it's unnecessarily quoted. All right, we don't need that. Cool. Look at us go.
We'll talk through a couple things right now. Talk through why that doesn't need to be quoted real quick.
Yeah. So since there is nothing special, like no special characters, no spaces or anything else for a JavaScript object, it's basically my linter saying, hey, this doesn't need to be quoted because it's fine without the quotes. But if I were to try and take it off of this one that has an equals, it don't like that so much because that's not a valid property name.
All right.
So let's show that error message again, or the warning. And it's basically saying unnecessarily quoted property other.
Cool. So MJTAU, Australia, maybe, is asking about, is the pluralize overkill here, right? Like, could we just check for users being greater than one, else user, right? Yeah, possibly. We'll touch on that here in a second. Let me explain the DSL, and then we'll mention on that, right?
Hold on for a second. Sorry, I'm trying to organize my other screen here. All right.
I saw Vader back there.
Yeah, that is my desktop picture.
Nice, nice. Hey, Lego Vader.
Lego Vader.
All right.
I found them using the Kenobi code.
Right. All right. So this DSL here, right, for this plural mapping, it's got a property, object property, and then a like key value, right? And so that key is if it's equal to 0, if it's equal to 1, or any other thing besides that, that's what it matches on, right? So in our case, really, if there's 0 users, the word would be users. If there's more than 1, it would be users, right? And then if it's exactly 1, it would be user.
Mm-hmm.
So I think in our scenario, we could ditch the dash equals 0.
Yeah, we don't need that.
As other, right?
Mm-hmm. We want user. And then otherwise we want users.
Yeah. And let's delete the period. I think I mean, it's up to us, but like I would delete that.
Yeah, I would say that would probably make more sense to have here. Oh, which I do have.
Which you do have, right?
User plural mapping, we've got that. So I'm going to save that before we refresh. This is actually linked out here to a format parse message. Wow.
And so that's the pattern. So ICU user guide. So it's based on this established syntax, right? Of how the pluralized stuff is utilized. And so you can, if you know that, if you learn that, and that kind of brings it to the question that MJT had about, is the pluralizer overkill here, right? Meaning, is it, can we just do the check for the length and do that? Where it becomes where I see it as becoming valuable is when you do translation, right? And you need to now utilize different languages. You want to provide support for different languages, and then you want to provide a way for these different users, that term in different languages. You can combine the pluralized pipe with something like NGX translate, and then be able to have that mapping and that support. And I think that helps out a bit there. Yeah.
So the other part of this is if we were to say total, I'm trying to think of a way to, so we could have users. I was wondering if, so let's get rid of total, right? And put that as part of our string. This could be, other would be total users. And this would just make it say 1 user. And then here for 2, we could say 2 couple users. That doesn't really flow either, but well, I guess it would be 2 users, and then anything greater than 2 would be total users, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we can do it that way. But what we didn't do is provide a way of filtering
to get to that experience, right? We don't have a way to drop it down to 1.
But we do, because I'm going to take a guess here and say if I did 2, because remember, we into our function, we can specify how many results we want.
Man, that is real easy. I think that's the fact that we've got some RxJS and reactive programming going here that, like Frosty mentioned earlier, yay for that, right?
Yeah.
Oh, pretty easy to kind of simulate that. I like it.
1 user, 2 users. I dig it. And I'm with you, though. I don't like the period.
All right.
And then we should get total users if we bump that back up to 20.
What if you add an option in that dropdown for something that's not a valid value for that gender selector? And then you could select that, and maybe that would be 0 users. Oh, that's what you're doing right now.
No, I think I made this too big. I tried to get back 2,000 users.
Oh,
I probably overwent. Oh no, it did come back. It was just slow because it also had to load profile pictures. So you're saying if I had something that was invalid? So if you're saying come in here and say, all right, value of, I don't know, random.
Sure.
Your gender is dynamic.
Dynamic. All right. I'm guessing that API doesn't support that as an option, but
I would assume not, being that we had 20 and 11 were male and 9 were female. That we would get 0 total users.
0. There we go. All right.
But I don't think we want that to say that. So if we were to do, if it were to equal to 0, that it was a 0 users.
How about 0 users found? Oh. I'm wondering if this plural map, this formatting of this DSL, if it supports sending the value, that numeric value as part of it that you could use in the value.
I don't know.
You can.
Doesn't look like that here.
They don't show in that example, but the link that has it out there for the format shows that you could.
Host.
It gets confusing, but it looks like it's there. Anyways, I think that's so we want to get to the animations, right? So maybe we'll just leave it as it is right now and say we're good. Like, this is pretty cool.
Yeah, let's get rid of this too.
Exploration later on the pluralized pipe, but
yeah,
cool.
All right. So I want to reiterate though that viewing animations over a live stream doesn't always convey very well due to frame rate and what have you over the wire. So if you use VS Code's live share to be able to join the stream,
that's cool.
Then you'll be able to see that the application running locally on your machine based off of the code that we have here.
Cool.
So I'm just going to open that up and I'm going to copy that link and I'm going to put it back in the post again in the chat.
Awesome.
In case anybody wants it.
I would overlay it, but it's huge. And we didn't make a bit.ly of it or anything like that.
Yeah.
So,
but it's a clickable link in the chat, so you can do it that way.
Good point.
Or if you feel like typing, there's the link. I have to scroll, so you have to get this side, then this side, and this side, and this side. Okay. All right. So we have this thing here. I think to me, what is the most compelling and the easiest animation to add is when something disappears or appears to the screen.
Okay.
Does that work for you?
Are you asking me or are you asking our viewers? Works for me.
I'm asking you your opinion because you've been most responsive in terms of replying. So,
all right. Yes.
I think that's the most compelling thing here. So I'm going to just close a few tabs here and just a little housekeeping. We're going to close everything on the right. And we're going to come back up here. Animations, complex animations. Introduction. That sounds like a great place to start. And I think that's where it actually starts. Enabling the animations module. We should probably do that.
Yes.
All right. Let's go
so Angular has this browser animations module, right, that we need to import into our application. I believe this is similar to the HTTP client module where we want to do it at the root level, right?
Yes, I would completely agree with that.
So there's a couple of those that it's recommended that those are done at your like app root level, right? Rather than having the same thing down at individual modules, NG module.
True. Yeah, that's the interesting thing about the HTTP client module. Should it be here or should it be part of shared? Because other child modules are going to need it as well.
Huh. Yeah, like if you had like a shared module that your app uses, right?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, from my understanding is that you'd want it at that top level because it's going to establish like the HTTP client service, right? The instance of that. And you want a singleton and one of that throughout your application.
Very
and I
true.
believe what will happen is if you do it at individual module levels, you added the HTTP client module, you would end up with multiple instances of that. And I think you have stuff like you do interceptors and things like that. You could run into some weirdness where your interceptor is not a part of it, and that's because it's a part of one module that's using HTTP client and not the other. That makes sense?
It does.
So it's kind of one of those ones. I think browser animation module is the same thing, that you'd set that up at your app root ng module. That's where you'd import it. And so for your app to have it across the board.
Well, I have set it up at my root module by de facto. That is my only module. Sorry, Goose. Our module. So we've then
that makes it easy. One ng module for the app, then only one place to put it.
Yeah, it's like the de facto standard. It's like, well, where else am I going to put it? So we're going to import there. I did that. I put that in the app module. What else do we have to do? All right, now we're talking about component files. So we just we're all set up. We are all set up for animations.
Ready.
Nice.
Ready to animate.
So we want to, I'm just going to steal that.
Okay.
All right, and then we add an animation, and that just goes right in the component header.
The decorator has a metadata property for animations, and that's how we can kind of configure animations that are going to be available to that component, right?
Yeah. All right, so let's close everything else, and we'll isolate where we are here. I'm going to collapse down our mapping, and I remember these little notes that we can type back and forth here to start discussions.
Oh, yeah.
We played with those last time. We don't need to play with those this time. All right, so actually, I don't think we care at all about our component right now. Boop. Goes away.
Hey, we need to get some sponsors. I'm eating these rolled gold pretzels, and they're really tasty, but I don't really want to plug rolled gold pretzels because they're not kicking us down in any pretzels. But if they were, I would plug these rolled gold pretzels.
If we got a sponsorship from Rolled Gold Pretzels, I would eat Rolled Gold Pretzels on every episode. Are they sourdough?
No, they're not.
Oh, okay.
They're just regular pretzels.
But I bet you they have a sourdough flavor. I would totally rep that.
But you know what else we'd probably do? I bet we'd wear like t-shirts or hats, you know? I mean, you're wearing the Angular Denver one. I don't know if they even know about our stream, right? NGBS or not. But yeah, so right. MJT is like selling out to Big Pretzel.
We're definitely selling out, right?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
Dude, you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
How do we spell this now? Is it roll gold?
I don't know if we go that. It's not going to permeate into the code, right?
No?
Yeah, no, I think that's too extreme. Too extreme.
All right.
No.
I'm willing to go there. I'm a big fan of pretzels.
All right.
All right. So in here, I'm just going to use it from my IntelliSense. And I'm getting nothing. There it is. Animations. You want to do it?
All right, so that import statement that you brought in at the top, that's importing these functions, right, that are available from, I think they're functions that are available from the animations.
They are, but they are grayed out. I'm not doing anything with them. I just copied them so that we have them there. Right? Because it said to add the animation metadata property. But before that, it said import animation functions into the component files. And I did that.
Okay.
I mean, it told me to do it, so I did it.
So you did it.
Which reminds me of the time that I accidentally formatted my hard drive because somebody told me to.
Yeah, like Alt F4, if they tell you to Alt F4 if you're on a Windows machine.
Oh, does that work?
I don't think it works on a Mac. Maybe. You're going to close the live stream. All
right. Animation state and styles. Hold on. Let's see. Let's do the high level reading. Triggering animation, timing, code review, transitions and timing. I mean, I don't want to deal with specific states. I want to deal with the generic. Here, I'm just going to search for it because I know it's enter. That's not here. That's not on this page. More on Angular animations. Transitions and triggers.
Now refresh me again on what we're adding here.
I want to animate when these things leave and they enter.
Wow. So complexity right off the bat, right? So you're talking about when you change the gender, the filter.
Yep.
To
So it's not just jarring. It just they don't just go boom and they're there. They're gone.
they kind of go whoosh, 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 instead of.
Yes.
All right. Like that.
Is there an audio library for Angular? Ooh.
Now I don't know about that, man. Now we're like going back to the days of putting audio in our websites, right?
Predefined states and wildcards.
Files, play background music while you look at my webpage. I don't know, man. Do we really want to go back there?
That's open, close. I don't want to deal with those. Where's enter and leave? There we go. Enter and leave aliases. That's what I want to play with.
You don't even want to comment on my MIDI files on your website? You never did that? You did that. I didn't know you did that.
Yeah, and they were usually tied to MC Hammer dancing.
There you go. Animated GIF of MC Hammer.
What is it? Now you're gonna distract me.
Sorry.
Stay
on target.
Sorry. I'm easily distracted. Squirrel.
Squirrel.
All right. So
we're already 7 minutes in and we haven't written any animations yet.
This isn't true. We have an empty animations array.
Okay, we're almost there.
Yeah. So I guess this means we need to transition.
So, and we gave some tips. So there you go.
Yes. Transition.
And then he says real people would write their own synthesis module. I think it's like would that constitute like cool people too? Because I definitely can't write my own one. So
I'm taking these.
I got the hat on inside, but other than that, that's as far as I've got.
All right. I'm stealing
some music. So there's that. That counts.
I'm Stack Overflow and I'm copying and pasting.
All right.
All right. So we have an animation here. Give me a name. We need a name for this, right? Gold.
How about whoosh?
Whoosh?
WOOSH. Yeah. I don't know. Is there an H after the W? Whoosh. Yeah. That's how I type.
Otherwise, it's whoosh.
Whoosh. Okay. Whoosh.
All right. Again, easily distracted.
Right. Okay. So you're setting up the component metadata property called animations. It takes an array. You're giving it
triggering based off of this whoosh thing.
Okay, so you're giving it one entry in the array. So I'm assuming one animation. You're using that trigger helper function from the animations library, the Angular animations library.
Yes.
To set that up. That takes in a name of it as a string, and then takes an array of. Looks like we're setting up these transitions, right?
Yep.
And by name, enter and leave. I think the colon enter, the colon leave are part of the DSL, right? So
yes, I'm coming back here real quick. They're aliases.
Okay.
So void to star and star to void.
Okay. So from what I remember from animations is that, okay, so that void is part of the DSL, right? For animations that says from one, then like the fat arrow to the other. So it's what happens? Are you going this way, that way? Is it when both of these occur?
Yeah, this is saying, I think these are synonymous with we're going from the status of void to anything.
Mm-hmm.
And this is going from the status of anything to void.
So when we don't have a state and then we go to some state, that's when that first one runs. And then when we do have some type of state and we go away from that to nothing, then the other one runs.
Exactly.
Okay.
But I think since it's such a common case that's why they added alias to make it more legible and readable.
Human readable, yeah.
Yes.
And digestible. I like it. Okay.
Exactly. So I want to leave those there to see if I was right later on once we get this other thing working.
Cool.
So what this first one is doing is saying, hey, initially that style, we want it to be invisible with an opacity of 0. And that when you enter into some state, we want to animate for 5 seconds. The style is going to then get to the destination of 1. So it's going to go from, I'm highlighting the wrong thing. We're going to go from invisible to fully visible across 5 seconds.
Okay, and so the style function, again, it's a helper function that allows you to declare CSS styles based on an JavaScript object, right?
Yes.
And so I think there's some naming conventions here where I think it's camel case for these different properties. So like if you had like background color, it would be camel case background color, but you can
make
make
something like min width
right
of 0, whatever.
And so you can take any of these CSS properties, specify them that way with this camel case as part of this object, JavaScript object notation, right?
Yes.
And set those values. And the style helper function will handle translating that into the actual CSS that's needed and need to be written out to handle that.
Correct. And if I remember correctly from when I first started looking at animations a long time ago, it was based off of the web animation framework.
Mm-hmm. And I think this is all translating down to CSS, right? Is that correct? It's all handled, or is there parts of the animation library, do you know, that also do some type of JavaScript to pull off animations?
Yeah, I'm not positive. I think it's not just CSS. I think the browsers implement the web animation framework.
Mm-hmm.
That I think it's actually using that as well.
Gotcha.
Which I think is supposed to be more efficient than raw CSS transitions. But I'm not positive. So, all right. What do we got in the chat? It's JS that interpolates values of CSS. Yes. And then although new CSS transitions are a thing too. They are, but they're a little bit harder to trigger, in my opinion, than this DSL here. Because this does more than just a transition, as we'll hopefully get to tonight. All right, so do we want to try this and save this and take a look?
Yeah, we're not using the trigger anywhere, right? So will we see anything, or are you? Did you already set that up?
I was getting to that. I was going to say, hey, look, nothing's happening.
Oh, sorry. Well, you asked, do we want to try it? So I just jumped the gun and answered that with more of an answer. I should have just said yes.
Yes, or we do. We do. We absolutely do. All right. But yes, you are right. We are not saying that we want to trigger this animation based off of anything in our DOM. So we need to go to our app component, HTML. And we want to do this on, oh, that's you again. And we want to do this here. So whoosh. I whooshed.
I think you need a special character in there.
We do. I believe it's the @ character.
At whoosh.
So we add a whoosh. It refreshes.
I think 5 seconds is a little long, but I saw it. I saw it in my browser running your app from your code. Crazy.
Nice. So what happens if we change this then? Oh, bye, Mabel.
Wait, what? It knows which ones are changing, and it only animates those back in. The other ones,
those ones are leaving. So if I switch this to female, everything should. Oh, they faded out, but they were down here.
Yeah.
So let's change. Let's bump that down a little bit. Oh, I collapsed too much.
Dude, all you did was copy paste a few things, and we've got this awesome animations as part of our application. This is so rad. I love it.
Right. Oh, wait. Let's jump this down to 10 users so that we can see them all at the same time.
Can you animate it a little faster too? I could do it. I guess I could just go in here and change the code. Do I need to ask you for your permission first, or
don't make me make you read only?
Did you make me read only?
No. 2 seconds.
All right. Yeah, maybe 1 second's fine, but yeah, let's do 2 seconds just in case so you can see it. Hey, it comes through great on the stream right now. I think I can see it fine.
Nice.
You see it? Yeah.
So we got that. They'll fade away. And then these should fade away. So we have 4 female and 6 male. But they jump.
They do jump.
When they come in.
And I think they're jumping because the size of the results are changing, right? We went from what are 20 to 6.
Yeah, so if I make this a little bit bigger,
Yeah,
I'm gonna go to both.
Right before they go away.
Yeah. So this is something that I had done, and when I was playing with this is what I did. But I also wanted to say, hey, let's start with the width equal to 0. And then we go to width of, what is the width? We'll come back to that.
Okay.
And then here, when we leave, we want the width to go to 0 again. Right?
There. Is it a string? Probably a string, right?
Yeah. Well, 0 is fine because 0 pixels will work. Oh.
Whoa.
So we do that.
That got crazy.
It did. But they're different size now. So a little trick, and the one thing that I absolutely love about this is that I don't need to know how wide it is, just whatever it's supposed to be.
I like that.
I think what's happening that with the height changing is it wraps.
Mm-hmm.
All the text is wrapping. So when I do that, then these should go away, and it's so nice.
Yeah, because as it shrinks, as the width changes, it's adjusting that width, and the phone number is forcing it to be taller, right?
Agreed.
So we can do something like a max height on it or something CSS wise to make sure it doesn't get taller.
Very true. It wouldn't squash down. So what is that? We'll just go in and we'll specify a max height on these things. So one of these things is 114, right? So let's say max height is 114 pixels.
There we go.
We get some overflow and whatever, but this is more so about showing the animation than anything else. I like that.
So one of the things that we could do to kind of make this experience even smoother, and I don't know, won't probably do it now because it's a little complex, but we can make like these ghost elements, right? That are the placeholders for those individual cards. So it retains that spacing, so you don't see them like collapse and start accordioning together as they get smaller in width. So it just looks like the spot where they're at shrinks. And then when it's not there anymore, that DOM element's gone and they all snap, right?
Yeah. That would be cool. I don't want to get into the CSS and ghost.
Yeah, we make container elements and things. So different time, right? Different stream. Yeah, but that's what we do, right?
But I feel like we can do other things too. Oh, I want to see if these work too. If we change the transitions. Now this should have the same behavior as what we were looking at, just based off of defining the transition a little bit differently.
Wait a second. That seemed to run a little faster.
I bumped it from 2 seconds down to 1 second.
Oh, okay. I'm like, did it also increase performance? Are those aliases slowing it down? I did not catch that.
No, that's all me.
Yeah. MJT mentions that we need some elastic ease out. That's a good point.
We went down to half a second. Because to me, I don't, as somebody who would be using an application, I don't want to have to wait until animations are done. Like I shouldn't have to sit here for like 2 seconds to watch something happen.
Right.
So you can work, and we have this here in seconds. We don't necessarily have to use seconds. We can just provide a number, which would be in milliseconds. And that would be the same reaction as what we have had previously of the 0.5 seconds. Which I like. I tend to use that even though there's no units, but it's just implied as milliseconds. Which would be the same thing of doing a set timeout, everything there comes with milliseconds. So this would be in milliseconds here.
I'm not looking. I'm covering my eyes. I'm not seeing you use set timeout at all. Pretend it's not there.
I'm just saying that's a way of understanding in milliseconds. That's how I think about time.
All right.
Working within the browser.
Hey, did you know that you could use the timer from RxJS to do that? And I believe that if you do that, you don't have to worry about the fact that set timeout is part of the window object. And so you've got something nice that's going to be ready for Universal as well. Universal.
I like that. All right, I'm going to change these back to enter and leave. Okay.
So that's, can we add some easing in and easing out?
Yeah, we don't. So that is messing with the idea of keyframes, right? So wildcard state with multiple transitions. Is that in here? Keyframes, offset.
I believe so.
Easing. I don't want to define my own easing.
Can we use something?
That's what I was looking for. Easing. Are we going straight to complex? I think this is where I was.
Let's see. Open, close, animate, animate.
Something like this. Oh, this is what I want to play with is stagger. Ooh.
Yeah, you mentioned that to me a while ago. But
I
the
did.
other day, you're like, oh, I want to figure out if we can do the stagger thing. I like that.
I thought there was a named one. I thought it was like ease out. I don't know.
Yeah.
I stole one called Cubic Bezier.
I like that. You said that very well. I don't know if that's correct or not because I don't know anything about it, but
Look, I broke it.
slick. I like it.
I broke it.
Uh-oh.
It failed to build due to the following errors. The provide value of law. It's invalid. All right. Do I have to go back to my seconds? 1 second. Is that better?
So at the third argument, easing, let's see, animation, metadata, the animate. So it looks like the third argument of the animate helper function.
Yeah, but I don't like this. I think it's like ease.
Yeah, I think that's what I'm saying. I think it's the third argument. So delete that. And after your style call, here, yeah. I don't know why I'm telling you. I could just click where it's at. But yeah, there. And do ease in. Dash. Ease that, yeah. What do we call that? Snake case?
It don't seem to like that. Or is that an argument to? Oh, it's an argument to the style property? No.
Maybe it's the trigger. No, wait. Yeah. I don't know where I'm looking at here.
I don't know where you're looking either.
Animate. Yeah.
Ease out. Yeah, I had it in the right place. It was the second argument. It's part of how you animate, right?
Well, this thing here says, the documentation says the third argument, easing, controls how the animation accelerates and decelerates during its runtime. So why is it saying it's the third argument?
Here, why don't you send me that link so that everybody else could look at it?
Okay. Here, I'll even add it to the, I'll put a banner up here for it.
Banner.
So it's just the guide / animations.
Oh.
But what you have highlighted right now is probably what works, right? So we can try that. But so now search for ease-in. See how it says the third argument, easing, controls how the animation.
Yeah.
All right.
MJT's giving
Whatever
us
I found, ignore that. Do what you found. Because then we got back up here. MJT is saying that what you found is what we want to do. So that's 2 solid.
Oh,
Yes, looks like the right thing. I'm going with that.
Oh. All right, so there's a whole lot of easings here that we could use. Don't care about that. So maybe it isn't the third argument because it's the duration, the delay, and then the easing. All right, well, you know what else we can do is we can go look at the definition here.
We can do that.
Timings, as in number or string, then styles. That's not what we want.
All right. So it's part of that string. Throw it in there. MJT is an old Flash dev. All right.
All right.
So probably very
seconds with
animations and keyframes.
Ease in.
Action,
right, easing in.
Action script, right? I always wanted to make Flash web comics. Played around with it for a little bit, but never did.
I can't tell if that's easing. Let's go to 1 second or 2 seconds.
Make that other one ease out, right? Yeah,
I think that's a little too slow as well. And you want this one to ease out?
Yeah.
Did you not see these? I don't know which is which. Going through the sign?
It takes a trained eye to see whether the easing is in play or not. I don't know. Did you save that file? My Webpack dev server is not refreshed. Thank you.
You're welcome. I'm sorry. There's a little bit of a snap there at the end. Well, that was an interesting effect.
It's when those ones disappear, right?
Yeah. I think they need to be the same.
Really?
The bounce ones seem. Oh, there's bounce. What? Ease in, bounce. Yep. I'm not even watching the ease in. I want to see some bouncing. What is this doing? Look at that. Oh, ease in, out, bounce. All right.
That's the California one for earthquake style.
What? No.
Oh, it's not doing anything. Is that the right name?
I thought. Unless it's not available. All right, let's search for. Okay. We need ease in. Animate has that. All right. Oh. Oh, we have to use an actual cubic Bezier function call. So here, the built-in ones are only ease in, ease out, or ease in, out. Or we have to provide our own cubic Bezier.
All right.
Bounce, ease, Bezier. That's where I was. What if I click on the one? Will it tell me? I want this one. Transparency, no. Sizes. I want the code. I want the logic. Oh, that's a lot. I don't like their CSS. White on white. Wow. All right.
That's it. That's because it's a spoiler, so you have to highlight it if you want to see the spoilers.
Let's just do ease in out. I can dig that.
Mm-hmm. Our phone numbers are still wrapping. Oh yeah, it's because you only did it. That's why I kind of snapped. Why don't we put that into the? Wow, I'm like talking. My brain's going woo. My words are just coming out as my brain's going woo. Sorry.
What do you want to do? You want to set the height on those?
Yeah. What did you say it was? Max height
114.
14. All right.
And then you can save it.
Thank you.
No problem. And then I'll refresh. It automatically refreshes for me.
There we go. It's still wrapping.
Yeah, but it's not changing the. I guess it is a little bit because it pushes it down. I like it. We done?
We got animation.
Overflow.
Let's talk a little bit about that. About the fact that like you wrote animation here for the component metadata, right?
Yep.
And you declared it in there, and it's all JavaScript in here, right?
Yeah.
So that really means that if you've written an animation here and you like it, you could put that into some other file and then use it in multiple places. So like our whoosh animation, it could be defined with this logic here. We could put that in a separate file and then use it in different components, right?
So you're saying this here? I could just have whooshing, right? And then I can just put that as forget about other files right now. Like that?
Yeah. Maybe name it whooshing animation or whooshing.
Well, we're just called whooshing for now. We can rename it.
Whooshing. Sure.
All right. Everything still works.
The trigger whooshing. I mean, we could even wrap the trigger in there, right, for the name. So you don't have to do that and just have the result of that trigger be it. Can I show you what I'm thinking?
Yeah.
Or maybe you're almost already there, but. Like that. Whoops. I copied the wrong thing. Whoosh. Yeah.
Save that.
So now we can add whooshing to our animations array if we want to do it in other components and manage it and work it in one spot, right?
There's only one thing that I don't care for there. I would personally prefer to go back to that for the purpose of these are the transitions that we're talking about for this. And if I wanted to do this on another component and I wanted to call this the in out transition or whatever, I'm not dictating what it's being called.
I like that. Because
whatever you're using, because maybe I want to use it in two different places or what have you.
And then the benefit of that, another benefit of that is that now in this component, you see the string name for that particular trigger, right? So now you're working that component. You don't have to dig into another file outside of this component to find out what that name is that you should be using in your template. It's all centralized into this component. I like that.
Is it possible? Hold on.
Sure, it's possible.
A function?
You could write creator function, right?
I don't know.
You totally could.
So all I did was change whooshing into a function.
Uh-huh.
It didn't like that. What don't you like about that?
Well, highlight squiggly.
Oh, you know why? I need to export this. No?
Hey, what? Because you can't. How do you call? Can you call that function in there?
I don't know. Apparently not. I thought I could make that a function.
No. Hey, remember we hit that the other week when we were trying to do templates, right? We tried to make a function in our decorator to dynamically load the template from a function, but we couldn't run that function in a decorator.
Yeah, but I know that you can parameterize these in a way.
Well, how is the trigger running? That trigger's a function. It's got to be a way. What is this trigger doing?
I don't know. I want to dig in here. So
I'm going to it. I'm going to go to, oh, I still have this overlay for animations. Let me hide that. I'm going to go to trigger, and I'll put this in trigger, right?
Hold on, there's this whole thing here about reusable animations. What?
Okay.
What is this? Reusable animations use animation method to define an animation in a separate file. Okay. Oh. Interesting. Did you see what I was saying?
No, because I was looking at the source code for a trigger.
Stop it. Don't do that. So what we have here is we're just separating out an array. Who cares? Let's create a whole animation. Okay, yeah, let's import that.
But that's what no, let's go back to what you're doing, because that's what we were doing, but you wanted to keep the animation in the Quant decorator so that you could name it. And then, so this, we just want Whoosh to be a function, right? That takes in the name.
Yes. So let's take our styles, right? And that's our normal thing in here. Oops. That's our style. And our animate is this thing. Right?
Mm-hmm. But what about your transitions? Oh, you're setting up separate transitions. Wait, what?
Yeah, the transitions are out here outside of that. Well, we could do that as well, but we want to set up this use animation piece. Right?
So you're trying to do kind of more of a breakdown all at once to make these into the even smaller little pieces that can be reused.
I believe so. Well, this is talking about, this is using animation to build up an animation, right? Or a function to build an animation. And then inside of here, inside of the transition, we can define that. So maybe we want to do both. So let's save what we have, because we're not using get well. So we'll just comment it and leave it there. We'll scroll it out of view, right? So we have here, so we're entering, we're leaving, and instead of this, let's talk about where this is flowing, is that we want to use the animation as part of this in here. So we're going to get rid of that. Use animation. And we want to use the animation of the whooshing animation. I think I need to put that above. See?
Mm-hmm.
And that's going, so this is the whooshing enter animation.
And when you said you put it above the const setting.
I put it above here because then it gets to,
because JavaScript is not hoisting that constant above the other constant, right? It'll hoist functions in the same file, I believe, but it won't hoist constants, right? So you got to declare one const before you use it in another const, or let or var, right? Yeah. So this is the order of where they're set up in this particular file.
Yep. And
hoisting. What did we say on Angular Air today that Alyssa was excited about? State rehydration.
Yes.
Rehydrate your state, hoisting your JavaScript. So, now we're cool. Now we're saying cool terms, right? Does that make us cool? And we got animation, double cool. Our cool factor is going up. Plus cool.
I don't think this is really saving us anything. Right? Because then we're losing the ability to parameterize this, which we'll get to. But let's make sure we're still working with what we had. All right, that looks good. So we're keeping feature parity.
Yeah.
By going through and creating an animation. What does this return? It returns an animation reference metadata. Exactly, right?
Mm-hmm.
But then we should be able to parameterize this. So let's take a look at how we do that. So whenever we specify that we want to use an animation, we can specify the params to it. Let's do that. And then those params can be used internally within.
Man, you're getting crazy. Going way deep.
I mean, if we're going to use animations, we might as well use animations. But I think that this isn't saving us a whole lot by having the whooshing property here. So I'm going to get rid of that.
Well, then how are you setting it up? We're trying to shorten that animations, right? To package it all up so you could just do animations array and then call a function.
Yeah, but this is, I mean, the transition is what needs the other metadata, right? Because what does use animation return? Animation, animate, ref metadata. It starts a reusable animation that is created using the animation function. Okay. But if we wanted to do this,
you're just getting close to like writing the same thing that animate function does, right?
Yeah, except I think I want to do this, and I want to say, all right, this is going to be the time in seconds, right?
Okay.
That's what I want to do. So in here, I should be able to say time is equal to 1 second.
Why don't we rename that to time in seconds? So when you read the variable, you know that it's a seconds value. It's expected. How about that?
Is that better?
Yeah, I like it. Thank you.
No problem. Let's see if that works. Okay, that looks good. What if we were to bump those up to, say, 3 seconds?
Okay.
Whoa.
Stop working.
It did. It's only working for the out. Oh. I missed the entering one.
Oh, changing the name on it.
Yes. Let me turn that off. All right. So switch here. That looks good. And that looks good. Okay. We're good. So now we've parameterized that, but I agree. I would like to be able to shorten this up. But how do we then wrap this up? Because what's the second parameter to trigger?
Can I try? Can I try? Got an idea.
Yeah.
I really want to wrap this entire thing. And I want to do this. I'm going to come here. I'm going to go const whooshing animation, set that equal to function. I'm going to do, what was this called? What's the first part of the trigger? The first part of the trigger is trigger, right? Name.
Yeah.
Name. String. And then time in seconds. Number. Fat arrow.
I'm going to make this full screen so everybody can see everything.
Okay. Something like that. Why is it? Was never read. So now I come in here and I go, this is going to be name. And this is going to be time in seconds. And I can do JavaScript shorthand, right?
Yep.
It's the same name as the object property. And then I come in here and I go.
I wasn't following you. I need to follow you.
I'm going to change this to 1. Right. Oops. And I'm going to call this. This is going to be called whooshing animation.
Yep, whooshing animation.
Right. So now we're back to where it's complaining about this, right? Error during template compile of app component, reference to local non-exported symbols are not supported in decorators, but whooshing. So this is where you're like export, right? You're trying to solve it with that.
Go ahead.
And now it gets there, but it's okay. Not supported in decorators.
So
this actually needs to be a function, right? It can't be I think something like this.
I got that part.
Yeah, and you got the other part. All right, we're there. Paired it. I like it. Okay, so now we got a named function, right? So we're not using a variable to store a function literal. We have to have a named function that we export in order for the decorator to use it, right? The TypeScript decorator to use it.
So if we save it, are we good?
I'm hoping so. Ooh, looks like it.
Looks good to me.
Okay. So now we got this reusable whooshing animation with reusable bits inside of it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Very cool. We got some parameters we can pass into it. Right now, our time in seconds applies to both the in and the out, but we could certainly extend that to making time in seconds enter, time in seconds leave, and utilize that, right?
I agree. Yes. But to me, for me, within an application, you wouldn't necessarily do that. As far as I'm concerned, that you want your animations to be consistent within your application. So
you're feeling the in and out would be the same speed on this?
Not so much the in and out, but if we're talking about transitioning or animating whether or not a list of users versus a list of businesses versus a list of clients, that everything occurs consistently throughout an application.
Correct.
So maybe that could be coming from some sort of configuration service.
Gotcha.
Or some sort of configuration just to make it consistent throughout.
Gotcha. Yeah. Makes sense.
I like it.
Very cool. Yeah, me too. Love it. Love it. Animations. Pretty straightforward to get kind of rolling and utilize this to add some animations to our stuff. And then, sky's kind of the limit in terms of what we can do and how we can apply these things and stuff. Very cool.
Yeah, and I just want to close the loop here because I know we talked about doing it with here, but just say we're just going to have our animations.ts here. And if we take everything that we just did and get rid of our commented out Git history here, and I'm going to take those two constants and this here. We're going to get rid of that. That's going to come over here to animations, but we're going to have a whole lot of references that we don't need. And actually, we don't need any of those in here. All right. Back
All right.
over in here. That cleaned all those up, right? We're not using state, so we can comment that out. And we have an empty line. Then our component, our evolution animation, we should just be able to import that from /animations.
Nice.
And then save that, put it off to the side. Everything still works.
Very cool.
I dig that.
I love it.
And I know that what we've done, I mean, sure, helps, but you don't necessarily need to just animate the opacity and the height. You can do other things. You can set up your own triggers, and you can do other things based off of that as well. You're not just limited to opacity and width.
Right. Now, I think there's also a way that you can globally turn on and off animations.
There is, and I think that would be at the root level of the animation. So let's go back to the default for introduction to animations. I'm going to bring that full screen so everybody can see. Summary. So this is the API summary of all the different things that we talked about using. We didn't get into keyframes or groups for child elements or querying or staggering at this point. No, I don't see that route transition, so you can animate in between routes. So whether or not you want to create like a swipe effect or zoom in or whatever. Reusable animations we talked about. Where is it that you turn off that? Do you happen to know that off the top of your head, Mr.
I am not. I'm searching it now.
Angular turn.
I can't remember how to do it.
Trigger, no. How to disable animate? Oh, it's in material. There's an OAuth animations module.
Right, but I'm thinking about like if we had a user toggle, right? So the user had the ability to toggle on or off via the UI, whether or not they want to have animations enabled or not.
Partially, you know. This is still open. It's being referenced a lot. It has been locked due to inactivity. Web Animations Deep Dive with Angular. Did you find anything on your end? Anything?
Not yet, but I'm working to it.
Nothing in the chat. Disable? No. Turn off. So let's go back to our module. See if there's anything in the browser animations module. I'll go to definition. Export class. Okay, super. Animation player, metadata. Option.
I am
I'm not seeing anything. Destroying and creating elements. Go back.
I mean, the no-op is there to do it, right? The no-op module, but you'd have to reload things,
Yes. Rebuild.
rebuild things.
Turn off animation at runtime. That looks promising.
It does look promising. Sounds promising. I mean, I see ways to disable a particular animation, right?
Yes.
But how can we globally say turn off all animations?
Yeah, this is like hijacking the animation factory. Let's see if there's anything here. I don't.
Investigation for another day, maybe.
Yes. That was really big. All right, sorry, I'm getting back to our split screen here. Let's go thirds. With our reusable parameterized animation. That cannot be disabled at runtime.
Hmm. All right. Well, I like our adventure into animations today and the pluralized pipe, right?
Yes, and the pluralized pipe. Yes, very good point.
That was fun. Shall we call it a stream?
I think so. I think we call it a stream on that one.
Any last things on the animation or something you want to squeeze in there?
Yeah, one last thing is that as we're talking about defining these animations here with the different triggers, and we talked about the differences between going from enter would be from void to anything,
Mm-hmm.
and the parity between those, that those two things mean the same, is that you're not limited to just void and star. This could very well be a transition from something that's named called, I don't know, no hover to hover. And the trigger for those can be something different than what you actually have here of whether or not it exists or not.
Mm-hmm.
So you're not just limited to just something coming into the DOM and something leaving the DOM. That there's a lot more to explore within there.
Yep.
And was that Boogie's low 805 says, "Good job, guys." So
That's
thank
not
you.
bad.
I'm glad you enjoyed. Obviously, we didn't get too deep into here. I mean, the ability to create reusable animations is great, and it's an excellent refactor. The idea of using different triggers is cool because maybe you have more than just two states of it's there, it's not there, but maybe different other states that you'd like to animate to indicate different things to your users.
Yep. I like it. I like it. I like it.
Mm-hmm.
Makes me want to write more animation code. Hey, one of the things I actually was thinking about when the animation stuff kind of started coming out would
Yeah. Why don't you take my screen off of the stream and I'll just.
Sure. That better?
Yeah.
One of the things I was thinking about would be cool when this whole animation library came out for Angular and stuff. I got excited and I'm thinking, man, wouldn't it be sweet to start building out a library of animations like the animation you just did with Swoosh, right? So that now people could have this open source library that they could bring in that would have all these animations already pre-built. So you don't have to go and hand roll them. And then you could just say, oh, this is the animation that I want. Because with the animations, library that Angular provides, and with the fact that it's JavaScript, and we saw how we could export it out from a specific file and contain that in there, we could certainly make reusable animations that other people could bring in and not have to worry about all that code, right? And just start using awesome animations.
That's true. Especially then you can get into the idea of actually implementing those other curves, right? Those other easing functions versus just the ones that are provided of ease in, ease out, and ease in out.
Yeah.
That if we wanted to provide like a bounce one that we could just actually do the math, or anybody who was doing that library could do the math to provide a full cubic Bezier for a whole bounce to be able to do that full type of animation beyond just the few basic.
Yeah. And because there's a lot of these animations, I think that, you have these experiences, these animation experiences that, you could make it even easier to apply to your applications as you build if you don't have to worry about the plumbing of all that, right? And you could pull in this library and, like you said, use a bounce animation or a whooshing animation and just go call it, name it what you want, like that slick way that you set up to be able to have that name that you use in your template. Yeah, I think that'd be sweet. And then you could have a nice little site that shows all the different examples of those playing, right? And you could pick which one and see the code snippet that you need to use inside of your application if you're using that library.
I like that. That's that because I know you and I have discussed the idea of creating some sort of open source library. Reusable Angular animation sounds like a very interesting potential there.
Yeah, we could do that. We could maybe, use some of our streams to work on that. Maybe we need to do that.
I agree, and it'll be a little bit more advanced, I believe, than what we have here.
Right.
Do a few things that are a little bit more configurable um, than just enter and leave.
Yeah.
I like that.
So what the other thing I envisioned too of it, we're laying out the desired, the goals of this thing, right? That would be pretty cool. I think that like if it also supported some way that almost like a plugin system, right, where you could then write your own and get it into here. I don't know how feasible that'd be or if that would make sense, but I don't know, some way to aggregate your own into that collection. I don't know,
Yeah.
but
Cool. I want to scales because I think scale is one of those that's animatable as well.
mm-hmm.
I'm playing with that real quick, and I think scale might be based off of a transition. I'm not positive. Yeah, it must be.
Cool.
That is
All right then. Fun as always. Love hacking on this stuff with you. It's awesome.
I agree. Sorry, I am in the process of playing with one last thing that I may have gotten working. No, it didn't like it.
Didn't like it.
Yeah, I was trying to play with not just the. Well, maybe if I took out width. I'm trying to play with the scale transition versus just the width. See if that works. Is it transition scale? Transform. I always get those two mixed up. Yeah.
Ooh. We need to share your screen again because that was cool.
Yeah, go ahead. I'm ready.
All right.
Good?
Do it again. So this is scale?
Yes.
So it's the width and the height at the same time. Ooh, that one looked cool.
Yeah, as it switches back and forth as they hide and show.
Wow. Okay. I like that. It feels less jarring than the other one. Yeah.
Agreed.
So you just tweaked a little thing, right? Just a
Yeah,
little
I'll show the code. So what I did is that we were
We're going to overtime here. I like it.
So now we're doing a transform of scale.
Okay.
And if we were, I think I can get back and put the width back in too. Width of 0, except this one, we want the width at the end to be full width. Because then things would scale as they moved, right? Yes.
All right.
So the width will allow Flexbox to be able to position things and they appear in their spots dynamically. And then the scale is holding the fade within there as well in place.
And it feels like it's almost like there's this smooth animation experience. We just got a little bit of jarring with the height of them. They seem to go bigger at one point, the height.
I agree. The one thing I don't care for is the ease in and out. And I'm wondering if that's causing part of the issue there. I don't think that was it. Trying to catch that I'm running a screen share and a live share on an i5 processor.
I think our phone number is still wrapping. So I think it's just a little bit of CSS we might need, overflow or something, to make sure that that doesn't wrap, or the text no wrap. And that's just what's causing. But I think if we did that and we had a fixed height on these things, then it would smooth it completely out, and I think we'd be there.
I think you're absolutely right on that. So let's just do that real quick. We're good. We're good. I'm happy with this. This looks good.
But I think we'd close. Yeah. So love it. Awesome.
Yes.
All right. Another successful one. That was fun. That was fun. We don't know yet what we're going to do next week, do we?
No, I don't think we do.
No. So we'll have to figure it out. And if anybody, is following us on Twitter, watch the stream, please shout out, let us know what you might want to see. We'd always,
whether or not I think we have other things to explore before getting into building a dynamic animations library.
True. Right.
Animations.
Plenty of, we have a lot of stuff on deck in our thought process or our plan for potential content that we can do.
And our brainstorming.
Right.
I think, had one earlier today.
Yeah, what did I say earlier today?
Oh, you were talking about a real-time chat app.
Oh, yeah. Play around with a real-time chat app. Just thinking about that, because anything that we can think about to write more RxJS code, it's like, we'd have some RxJS code in that. Mm-hmm. So, I don't know. That'd be cool, though.
I mean, heck, we were playing with animations and we decided to use dynamic API with observables to filter the data and everything.
Right.
So looking to drop that in wherever we can.
For sure. All right, dude. Always awesome. I loved it.
Absolutely. Hope everybody who watches enjoyed as well. If so, let us know. If not, let us know.
Let us know. We may not, but sure. Let us know.
Absolutely. Can't improve without feedback.
All right, dude.
So
catch you next time.
Yeah,
later.